Hey everyone, welcome to another deep dive. Um, Today we're going to be tackling social skills.
Yeah.
I know that can seem like a really big topic, especially for anyone working with children on the autism spectrum.
Right.
But when we say social skills,
Hmm.
we're not just talking about like how to make small talk at a party.
No.
This is really about like the foundation of how we connect with each other, how we learn, how we really thrive.
Exactly. And it's interesting because it's easy to think of it as this one big thing, but actually it's a lot of little things like building blocks that all work together and they build on each other to make those complex interactions.
It's like that saying, it's all fun and games.
Yeah.
But but in this case, those games are actually really important because they're like training.
Yeah.
We're diving into an article called Understanding Social Skills, what they are and why they matter. And it goes right into four core skill sets.
Hmm.
And the first one it talks about is play skills.
Right.
Now, we might take that for granted,
Yeah.
but if you think about a kid learning to share or
Hmm.
like taking turns or even just like negotiating roles when they're playing pretend,
Yeah.
that's like their first, experience trying to understand somebody else's perspective.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's why these really early skills are so important because if you have a child that maybe struggles with sharing a toy, that's going to be even harder when they're older and they have to work together on a group project, right?
Yeah.
So it's not just about the toy, it's about understanding how to be in the world with other people.
Yeah, so you've got that foundation, and then it's like you're leveling up. So you've got the play skills,
Hmm.
but now comes, okay, how do you have a conversation with somebody?
Right.
And that's not just about like, do you know all the right words or can you speak in complete sentences? It's
Right.
it's really about learning this whole language of cues. Like, what's your body language saying?
Oh, absolutely. Imagine a child who's learning to read those really subtle signs that someone's not interested in the conversation anymore.
Yeah,
Or even like telling a story in a way that's engaging and interesting. That's a conversation skill. It takes a lot of practice to learn how to do that well.
it's true. It's like they're becoming these like social chameleons almost.
Yeah.
They're learning how to kind of read the room, adapt, and respond. Which brings us to this next one, and this one I find really, really interesting.
Okay.
Emotional skills. Because this isn't just about can you recognize how other people are feeling,
Right,
which is
right.
important,
Yeah.
but it actually starts with can you recognize what's going on in your own little world?
Yes, exactly. And manage it. Right.
Yeah.
Because it's like trying to read a map in the dark if you don't even know where you are. You need that internal compass first, and then you can start to understand what other people are experiencing. But if you're overwhelmed by your own emotions, it makes it really difficult.
It's true. It's like trying to build, I don't know, like a house on a foundation of jelly or something. You need something solid to build on.
Hmm.
And then finally we get to the problem solving portion of this whole social skills like game show we're doing here.
Right.
Because let's be honest, life throws curveballs.
Yeah.
So you got to know how to navigate all those like weird social situations.
Yeah, and that's really where all these other skills, play skills, conversation skills, emotional skills, they come together. Because if you can imagine a group of kids, they're trying to decide what game to play. They have to
Yeah.
say what they want to do. They have to listen to what everyone else wants to do. Maybe they compromise.
Right.
That's real problem solving that they're going to use in their everyday life.
It's like real life.
It
It's
is.
not it's not just kid stuff. It's like they're learning to be like these social ninjas that can navigate any obstacle course.
Mhm.
So we've kind of laid the groundwork here for why these skills are important, but what does this actually look like in a child's life? What's the benefit to them? We're going to get into that right after this. Okay, so we've covered why social skills are so important, but how does this actually play out, in a kid's life? What's the benefit? Well, this article breaks down some pretty cool benefits, and the first one it talks about is friendship formation.
Yeah.
And we use that word friendship, but sometimes I think we think about it in terms of like, are they popular?
Right.
But it's so much deeper than that.
Yeah, it really is about having that sense of belonging, feeling like you have a place where you can be yourself,
Yeah.
where you're accepted for who you are.
It's like finding your people.
Yeah.
And those friendships are so important. And they're not just good for, your soul and like your spirit. They can actually lead to some really cool learning opportunities too.
Oh, absolutely. When kids have that shared interest, the learning just kind of explodes
Yeah.
because it's not just them pursuing something on their own anymore. They're sharing that passion.
Yeah.
They're bouncing ideas off each other, and it's really exciting to watch. Imagine a child who loves dinosaurs, for example, and they have a friend who introduces them to a whole new type of dinosaur they'd never heard of.
Right. They go to the museum together or something.
Exactly. It just opens up their world.
It really does. And it's not just about, making friends at school and things like that. These skills, they come home with you too.
Absolutely. Imagine how much smoother things could be in a family if everyone felt like they could communicate their needs effectively, if disagreements could be resolved peacefully.
Yeah.
That's what strong social skills can do within a family.
It's like you're turning down the volume on all that, like, background noise.
Exactly.
And you can actually enjoy those family dinners. You can, have a real conversation.
Right.
And all of that sense of connection, that understanding, that really does play into, a child's mental health.
Yeah, it's huge. When children feel socially confident, like they can navigate social situations, it has this ripple effect.
Yeah.
Their self-esteem grows, they feel like they belong, they're more resilient.
It's like giving them this toolbox, this toolkit.
Exact.
So they can handle those ups and downs. So, okay, we know these skills are essential. We know it makes their life better. But how do we actually help kids develop these skills, especially children on the spectrum who might need a little extra support in this area? And this article, luckily for us, does not leave us hanging.
Yes.
It actually gives some really practical and engaging strategies, and we're going to unpack those right after this.
And we're back. And, we've spent all this time talking about why social skills are so important, but now let's get down to brass tacks here. How do we actually help these kids?
Right.
This article gives us some really practical strategies, and the first one it mentions is actually something we were just talking about, play.
Oh, yeah. Play is so important.
It's like sneaking in the vegetables.
Yeah.
They don't even realize that they're learning these essential skills. Exactly, because when children play, they're practicing real-life social situations, but it's in this safe and fun environment.
Right.
So think about it, taking turns during a game.
Yeah.
Deciding what roles they're going to play when they're, using their imaginations.
Right. They're like, I'm the mommy, you're the daddy, or whatever.
Exactly. Exactly. These are all like mini lessons in cooperation and compromise.
It's like social skills boot camp.
Yes.
But with way more fun.
Way more fun. Exactly.
And the best part is play comes naturally to kids. So you don't have
Yeah.
to force it. Just create that opportunity and then watch them go.
Exactly. That article gives some really good examples, like acting out little scenarios with toys,
Oh, yeah.
or playing movement games like tag or hide and seek, things like that.
And what I love about that is you can kind of tailor it.
Oh, absolutely.
You know what I mean? You can
Yeah.
tailor it to whatever they're into.
Exactly. If you have a younger child, it might be as simple as rolling a ball back and forth, just
Right.
practicing that turn taking. Older kids, you can do board games
Yes.
that have strategy, collaboration, a little bit of competition. It's all good stuff.
And while they're doing all that, while they're in the midst of, battling it out over a board game, remember the power of praise.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Yes.
I'm not talking about just like showering them with compliments.
Right.
It's got to be genuine.
It has to be specific too.
Yes.
So instead of just saying good job, you can say, wow, I noticed how patiently you waited for your turn during that game. That was amazing.
Yes.
You're pointing out that specific thing that they did well.
They need to know, like, what they did,
Exactly, exactly. And it helps them understand, like, oh, that's why that was a good thing to do.
Exactly. It's like you're giving them a high five
Yes.
for their social skills. All right. Now, sometimes kids might need a little extra help navigating these tricky situations.
Right.
So the article talks about role playing. And I'm not talking about putting on a play,
Right.
although if that's your thing, go for it.
Yeah.
But you can actually create scenarios, like with your child, about things that might be tough for them, like joining a group of kids who are already playing.
Yeah, that's a tough one.
Or like what happens if you and your friend disagree on something?
Right.
Or even just like a new situation, like going to a birthday party or something.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of anxiety around those.
And you can practice those things ahead of time.
And you know what's really cool about role playing is parents can get involved too,
Oh, that's a great idea.
because children are always watching us.
Right.
So if you can model those positive behaviors, during the role play, you're showing them, okay, this is how we resolve conflict peacefully.
You're like their little acting coach.
Exactly.
Okay, so we talked about role playing, we talked about play, but now I want to talk about something that is especially helpful, I think, for children on the autism spectrum.
Okay.
Visuals.
Yeah.
So the article talks about social stories, and it talks about video modeling. And those are two things that can be so, so helpful for these kids.
Right, because visuals can be so much easier to understand than just words alone.
Oh, 100%. They need to see it.
Right. Imagine you're trying to explain a social situation to a child who's on the spectrum. They might feel overwhelmed or confused, but if you can show them a visual, like a social story,
Right.
which breaks it down step by step.
Yes. Like a little comic strip almost.
Exactly.
That makes so much
They
sense.
can see, okay, this is what happens first, this is what happens next.
Right.
It makes it much more predictable.
Yes, because a lot of it is that like anxiety of the unknown.
Exactly, exactly. And then there's video modeling too. So
Yes.
that's where you're actually showing them a video of a real life social interaction. So it could be anything.
Right.
How to order food at a restaurant, how to handle a disagreement with a friend.
Like they've got a little spy camera to
Exactly.
like how to function as a person.
Exactly.
That is so smart.
And the best part is, both social stories and video modeling can be tailored to the child's individual interests and needs.
100%. And as we're talking about this, I think it's important to remember, it's not just about giving these kids the tools.
Right.
It's about us creating a world where they feel accepted and supported.
Yes, 100%. It's about creating a society where differences are celebrated,
Yes.
where everyone feels safe to be themselves.
Yes. And like it starts with us.
It does.
We can be that example.
Exactly. We can show them how to be kind, how to be inclusive.
We can teach them how to be friends with people that are different from them.
Yes.
I love that.
And it's about creating that world where everyone feels like they belong,
Yes, it really does.
regardless of their social skills.
Oh, I love that. Well, you know what? On that note, I think this has been such a great deep dive. We've learned so much.
It has.
And I hope that our listeners feel equipped with some new tools and some new inspiration.
Me too.
So as always, thanks for joining us on this incredible deep dive. And until next time, keep those conversations flowing, keep those connections strong, and keep playing.